I mean, it's Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points. I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. If that's your motivation, you don't have a chance. Good morning. Happy Sunday. It's NFL season. Obviously, hopefully. Oh, my TV's not muted. I'm hoping that this doesn't need to be said, but in case it does, shouldn't be placing NFL bets at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, but but hey, do as I say, not as I do, right? It's we've waited a long time to get back to the NFL. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got 13 games on. I think most of the people here would probably know who Steve is. He did a lot of work with us last year for the NFL. But for those who don't, his YouTube channel is called Just a Bet Outside. They do, they're year round over there. Baseball, basketball, NBA, NFL, does it all over there. So most of you probably already know who Steve is, but if you don't, that's who he is. And that's his Twitter handle at the bottom. Do we want to talk about it? Why don't we just start talking about the NFL? First up, Steelers, Jets. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, when I first looked at this game, I was like, there's no way I'm betting this, but I got two bets in it. Of course I do.
Of course.
So the first one is it's an alt team total parlay. I'm doing a 2-leg alt team total parlay. Again, it's week one. You're trying different things, but the first leg is Jets team total under 23.5. And then I also have a player prop of Justin Fields under 27.5 pass attempts here. But as for the team total under 23.5, their actual team total is 17.5. They're facing the Steelers defense. We know they're a top 10 defense, giving up just under 21 points per game last year. But the crazy part is that when TJ Watt is healthy, this team is 8-2 last year, 6th best pass defense EPA. Without Watt, 1-6, and they are 30th in pass EPA. This guy makes a humongous difference. They drafted Derek Harmon, to replace Cam Hayward and stuff, but I'm still expecting some good things. They got some older players in the secondary, Darius Slay to go with Jalen Ramsey and all that, but this is about this Jets offense. This is just a horrendous offense, in my opinion. They got a defensive-minded head coach now. No team wants Justin Fields chucking the ball around 30 times here. But weapons, Garrett Wilson, and really there's not much else unless I'm missing something. Their O-line should be okay. They're missing, I think Barrett Tucker is out for a little while. But this offense is going to play, in my opinion, from what I've heard and what they should do, conservatively. They're going to try to rely on their defense and run game. I think getting to 24 points here, it's going to take a pick six or something. It's going to be insane. So I like them to go under. Again, that's the first leg. I'll go over the second leg here in a bit. But my actual player prop here is that Justin Fields under 27.5 attempts. In his 6 games last year, he went 27.5. He went under this line in 4 of 6. And honestly, like I said, they're going to be conservative. It's going to be a run-heavy offense. I think they play at a slow pace this year as well. And of course, on passing plays, you're going to see Steelers get some pressure. And Justin Fields is a guy. I mean, if that first read's not open, he is taken off. And he can scramble all he wants as long as he's not throwing the ball at all. But the spread indicates a close game. When you get an under pass attempts prop, you want to make sure it's not a blowout. You don't want the Steelers to go up, 24-0, and then Fields is chucking it all over the field. And if they get out to a big lead, guess what? This bet might be in trouble. But I really don't see it. You see a low total, 2.5, 3-point spread. So I like Fields under pass attempts, and then the Jets team total under.
All right, Steelers, Jets. Man, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's the for a lot of these games. I have no idea. Another new era of Jets football. I feel like we say that every single year. We're into the Aaron Glenn era now. Exciting time to be a Jets fan. The Steelers are a much better team than the Jets are. I don't think anyone would even argue that. Steelers' offensive line got better despite losing James Daniels, by the way. Keep in mind, James Daniels didn't play most of the year. He was out for the year after 3 games. So even though they lose a piece on the offensive line, they actually got better because he wasn't even there for most of last season. So the Steelers' offensive line should be better this year. Take out George Pickens, throw in DK Metcalf, potato. Aaron Rodgers, obvious upgrade. Whatever, we could have that conversation, but like I'd say probably an upgrade. Think the Steelers are going to be able to run the ball a little bit. On the defensive side, the Steelers brought in a ton of talent. This secondary is freaking crazy. Jalen Ramsey is the CB3. Now, we do it when you're talking about names like Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey. You have to ask the question, are their names worth more than that? Like, do the names match the talent level? Like, is Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr.? Like, is it that good, or does it look really cool in Madden? That being said, there's clearly a lot of talent in the secondary. They also brought in Juan Thornhill from Cleveland, too, to play safety because they lose Fitzpatrick. So even though they lose Minkah Fitzpatrick, the defense is better as well. I love those linebackers, Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson. The Steelers are so much better than the Jets. It's not even close. I do like the pieces the Jets brought in on the defensive side of the ball, though. Brandon Stevens, solid corner from the Ravens. Harrison Phillips, defensive tackle from the Vikings. Jermaine Johnson, finally back from injury, although I don't know how much he's going to play here for the Jets in the opener. I think they're going to slowly implement him in to the rotation. It would only be the Steelers. Laying 3 on the road with Mike Tomlin should be illegal. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong by even putting this graphic up. I can't back the Jets. Here's the thing. Most of you know I live in New Jersey. This is a very big deal. And I know a lot of people that are going to this game, Jets fans. They don't give a shit about this season. They want to do one thing, beat Rodgers. That's it. And I mean, that place is going to be going crazy. I swear to God, I have friends that are Jets fans, and I'm not like saying this to be funny here. Like, they are literally going like, I just want to go see us beat Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a shit what happens after that. They know their team sucks. They just want to beat Aaron Rodgers. And that place is going to be going crazy. This is the Super Bowl for the Jets right here. So I can't bet this. I'm not laying 3 on the road with Tomlin. Tomlin is a road favorite. Please, guy can't coach. It would only be Steelers for me here, but this is more just like a super fun game to watch than anything else.
And real quick, I'm just curious your thoughts on the Steelers this season, because everyone's just thinks Aaron Rodgers comes in now and just saves franchises. I think he's not completely, but he's washed. I mean, I don't understand all the high expectations all of a sudden for this team. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they're all of a sudden good, but he didn't look good last year. He really didn't. I know the Steelers are a better team, but I don't know.
Well, okay. So first of all, I kind of agree with you. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a game changer or anything. I just think the Jets brought Aaron Rodgers in to be like the savior. Like, go win. Here's your receivers. Go be Aaron Rodgers. That's not what the Steelers are bringing him in to do. The Steelers want to run the football, control the clock. That's what the Steelers are trying to do offensively. That's what they want to do with that OC they brought in last year. So they want Rodgers to be a game manager. And as a game manager on a defense run-first team, I think he can still do that at a high level. He has a high football IQ. He's obviously a weird guy, but I think the role that the Steelers are asking him to play, I think he can play that pretty well. Are you about to give us a kicker prop?
No, I can't. I know that everybody wanted me to play Big Boz today. It would only be under in this game or pass. I can't play Boz because the only thing that holds him back is a bad Steelers offense. And I don't really trust this offense. Aaron Rodgers didn't play a snap in the preseason, and this Jets defense is still pretty damn talented. So I just have a hard time believing that we see 40 points. I know that this numbers came down a little bit, but it would only be the Jets or under for me. This price makes absolutely no sense.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Let's get off of this mess. And the next game is Dolphins Colts in Indianapolis. I bet this one. Steve, want to bet leadoff? You're our leadoff hitter today, Steve.
I noticed that. No, that's good. I was in high school too. Hey, so you don't have many bets, but this is the game you bet on, huh? Okay, curious to see your thoughts on this one. I have no official best bets here. I lean Colts. You know, they're honoring Jim Irsay. They can't lose, right? But I also like the over here. I think Tyler Warren's going to be a huge help. But this game comes down to one thing and one thing only. Is this Daniel Jones or Daniel Bones today?
Bones.
We don't know in Indianapolis. Is it Bones? See,
I got a Colts insider.
Don't know.
I got a Colts insider. Bones is playing. Bones is
okay.
Up.
Well, then it's Colts all the way for sure. To me, I'm really down on the Dolphins. I think Coach McDaniel gets fired. I mean, sooner rather than later. I think the roster he's been given is atrocious. I think it's a bottom 5 defense. But again, I'm not that high on the Colts either this year. So this is kind of a crap game. And if I had to go side or total, I'd probably lean to the over, just getting a ton of points here on these defenses. But again, I have no best bets. Curious to see your thoughts.
Well, I am surprised you went there with it. I don't agree with that at all. I'm on the Colts, but what you said about the Dolphins, I don't agree with that at all. I think the Dolphins are pretty. That graphic's messed up. It's Colts money line. I got a plus 100. I don't think you can get that now, but I'm on Colts money line at a pick 'em. I don't think the Dolphins are terrible. I actually think they have a pretty good roster. Their defense was all right last year, and they bring in some talent. So it's just, all right, if we are going to get, and this is how a lot of people look at the NFL sometimes, they assume that every single week both teams are going to show us their best fastball, right? And the Dolphins at their best are a better team than the Colts. So if we knew right out the gate we're going to get both teams' best fastball, the best they can play, then yeah, I probably would lean the Dolphins. But there's a lot of uncertainty here in the opener. The Dolphins got worse on the offensive line. They've got a rookie there starting at left guard. They brought in James Daniels from the Steelers. That should be a solid piece, but we were just talking about it. James Daniels missed basically the entire last season with an injury. He's never played with the Dolphins before. So you've got a rookie starting at left guard, and you've got James Daniels playing his first football with a new team in a year. So I think that Dolphins interior offensive line got a lot worse. Keep in mind, Terron Armstead at left tackle is also gone. So I think this Dolphins offensive line takes a significant step back. Now, when Tua is healthy, the Dolphins can move the football. No one's really going to argue that, but the offensive line takes a step back, and they're up against this Colts defense that brings in the GOAT, Lou Anarumo. I love Lou. I don't need to go on another Lou Anarumo rant. You guys have heard me say it before. But it's not so much a bet on Lou Anarumo. I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek. Colts had a borderline top 5 run defense last year. They were 8th in yards per carry allowed, 5th in success rate per rush. They were very strong against the run last year, and they're coming back with the same exact defensive line. No one talks about the Colts defensive line. It's a very strong unit. The 3 in the middle there are Kwity Paye, I never say that guy's name right, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Abukum's on the edge. They got Latu, their draft pick from last year, on the edge. This is a very, very good defensive line. It's a tough matchup for a Dolphins offensive line that, in my opinion, it takes a huge step back. So I think the Colts defensive front dominates the Dolphins offensive line in this one. Now, as far as the new Colts secondary, Travarius Ward from the 49ers is here now. Xavier Howard from the Dolphins looks slow as shit. I think the Colts secondary might be a little bit vulnerable, but this is not. 2 years ago, we kind of looked at the Dolphins as this high-flying, like throwing bombs to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and that's kind of how we view the Dolphins. That's not really how they were playing last year at all. In fact, Tua played 11 games last year. He only attempted 24 passes of 20-plus yards. 24 all season. So the Dolphins are not throwing the ball deep like that. If this was the 2023 Dolphins or whatever the hell that year was where they were just scoring 45 points a game, might have been 2 or 3 years ago, then yeah, this would be a tough matchup. But they're not throwing the ball deep. They haven't. They weren't last year. They're more of like a veer and shoot TCU type of offense. A lot of misdirection. Tyreek Hill running this way. Achane running this way. Not really the deep ball throwing offense that they're kind of branded as. So I think the Dolphins with a diminished offensive line against this Colts defensive front, I think they might struggle to move the ball. But on the other side, I think the Colts are going to run the football in this game. Yes, it's Daniel Jones. We've had plenty of laughs at Daniel Jones' expense, probably rightfully so. But they're going to run the football. I think Shane Steichen's going to be real conservative with the play calling here. The Dolphins' defense was strong last year, but very new. I mean, they got a lot of talent in the secondary. Jack Jones is here. Minka Fitzpatrick's back. Ashton Davis from the Jets is here. Juju Brents, former Colt, is here. So they upgraded the secondary, but it's new. And as far as the defensive front, there's no Calais Campbell anymore. And I know he's 38 years old, but he was such an anchor for them against the run. So you're talking about a Dolphins run defense that maybe takes a step back, a brand new secondary, 2 star edge rushers in Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, who missed the entire season. So they haven't played in a while. Everything about the Dolphins is a little bit uncertain in week 1. If this game's in week 6, I'd probably lay 3 with Miami. But in week 1, I think the Colts are in a better position. So I'm on the Colts money line. Daniel, Bones, toast.
I tailed you on the Dolphins. It would have been under or pass for me. I think that obviously both of these 2 offensive-minded head coaches in a dome, I think that this number was a little bit higher than I thought. But I also think that it's very possible that both these teams could put up some points with the way that there's a lot of question marks on both sides too. But I didn't have any kicking props in this one either. I'm going to tail you with the Dolphins, but I didn't play the under. You also missed it by like 1.5 too. So
next game.
There's too many just unknowns, like you said. There's too many wild cards in that game. The Dolphins could win by 20, Colts win by 20. Low scoring, high scoring. I don't know. It's a tough one for me.
Panthers Jags. I bet this one too, reluctantly. All right, so go ahead, Steve. Bat lead off.
All right, the second leg of that alt team total parlay with the Jets under 23.5. I got the Jags team total over 20.5. And then I also have a Brian Thomas anytime touchdown. But Jags team total over 20.5. Their actual team total is 25.5. So obviously, you're going through key numbers of 24, 23, 21 here. But they're facing the Panthers defense. Every single opponent but one scored 21 plus points against the Panthers last year. We all know they're terrible. Dead last in the following categories: points allowed, yards allowed, pressure rate, rush yards allowed. Are they going to be a little improved this year? I would hope so, because you can't get any worse. But again, they're not going to be good. Added some edge rushers. I think Patrick Jones will be a nice little overall piece for them. But in the secondary, J.C. Horn's like the only guy. Even he wasn't awesome last year. But it's hard to cover guys when you're not getting any pass rush as well. But Jaguars offense, this is something that everyone's looking forward to seeing. Liam Cohen's running the show now. Obviously, we got Travis Hunter here. Good results in the preseason. Doesn't mean anything. I don't know. But we're going to see more Tank Bigsby, which I've been kind of wanting to see in the last year or two over Travis Etienne. But I think Travis Hunter with Brian Thomas. We got Brenton Strange, who's not a terrible tight end as well. We're getting good weather here. Again, it's the Carolina Panthers defense. I think everybody and their mother should score 21 plus points. So I don't think that's a big deal there. I wouldn't mind their over regular team total too. But again, it is a new head coach. We'll see how they work out. But Brian Thomas, anytime touchdown, plus 125. Someone's got to score all these touchdowns for him. This guy's an absolute stud. Last season, in his 10 games with Trevor Lawrence, he did score 6 touchdowns. He had the highest red zone target share for the team. And obviously now we get Liam Cohen running the show. They said they want to use him all over the formation. He is the main guy, the focal point. Coaches like that, they never lie about things. So even with the addition of Travis Hunter, I still think he is the main guy. And then the Panthers allowed the second most touchdowns to wide receivers, tied with the Texans at 21. I expect him to be really bad. Thomas is a guy who could beat you on a 70-yard bomb for a touchdown. He could score in the red zone. Either way, I like him to get a touchdown, a plus 125 and an elite matchup, and then that alt team total parlay. So, yeah, curious to see your guys' thoughts, though, on a side here.
Jags. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't understand why the Jags are laying 4.5 points. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I'm on Jags minus 3.5.
All right, let's hear what you have to say. Because for me, I don't understand how is Jacksonville just automatically good right now that they're laying.
I think it's more Carolina's bad.
Okay, I'd like to hear that. All
right, so we know the talk of the town last year, the resurgence, we'll call it, of Bryce Young started playing some football down the stretch. I will say, got a little bit blown out of proportion there. You would think by the talk that Bryce Young was looking like Andrew Luck or Lamar Jackson. The truth is, in those last 6 games during the resurgence era of Bryce Young football, the Panthers were averaging 21.7 points per game, 5.8 yards per play. They weren't setting the world on fire. They were just so hilariously bad before that, and it was just such a big difference that it was notable. Still weren't very good. Now, does that carry over into the next year? Do want to say Carolina's got a great offensive line. Aquanu, the left tackle there, he's not going to play in this game, which is huge. But they still have a pretty strong offensive line without him at left tackle. Carolina's got like a sleepy good offensive line. They dumped a lot of money into their offensive line. So they got a good offensive line, even without the left tackle. What I'm concerned about is you look at the Jacksonville defense from last year, awful, like terrible against the pass. And at first glance, you might be like, oh, shit, all right. The resurgence era of Bryce Young's going to continue here in week 1. Jacksonville is 32nd in the NFL in yards per pass attempt allowed, 32nd in EPA. Dead last. Here's the thing. There's a new coaching staff here in Jacksonville. And Campanile, don't know if I'm saying his name right. That's the new defensive coordinator for the Jags. And he has made it clear they're going to be running a shitload of zone. which is the exact opposite of what Jacksonville did last year. We should see a shitload of zone coverage from the Jags. I read that in 2 separate articles that the Jags are running a lot of zone coverage. Now, this is why I hate week 1 and the offseason, because I don't know if they're going to run zone coverage. I read it. If they are running zone coverage, I like that, and I think that's a solid angle for the Jags because Bryce Young, actually some nice-looking numbers against man coverage last year, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Man threw 7 picks against zone coverage compared to 6 touchdowns, one of the least efficient quarterbacks in the NFL against zone coverage. And what do you need? When you're going up against a defense that's running zone coverage, what do you need? You need quarterbacks that are on the same page as their wide receivers, right? Mahomes and Kelsey, when they're playing against zone coverage, he just knows exactly where to go. Ball snap, Kelsey makes a read. Mahomes knows what read he makes, runs directly to the spot, first down. That's what you need when you're playing zone coverage. Quarterback that's on the same page as his receivers. Who on this offense is Bryce Young on the same page as? The guy he had the best chemistry with, Thielen, is gone. The other guy he had the best chemistry with, Coker, is hurt. You got McMillan, superstar rookie. I don't trust a rookie wide receiver to make the reads and beat zone coverage with Bryce Young. You got Hunter Renfrow, also a brand new addition, and you got Xavier Legette. So in addition to Bryce Young struggled against zone coverage last year, he's playing with brand new receivers. I think we're going to see the old school Bryce Young, the one that was the subject of many memes on the internet. I think the Jags defense, yes, I'm saying this, I think the Jags defense is going to play well. Now, on the other side of the ball, Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, I don't know. But I don't know if I trust the Jags offense, but the Panthers defense certainly sucks. So I don't really know how I feel on the other side of the ball. I think Bryce Young's going to struggle. And the fact that it's the Panthers defense, and I think Bryce Young's going to struggle. They're on the road, and it's only 3.5. It's actually 4.5 now. Wow, I actually got a good number on NFL Week 1. What? So, yeah, I'm on the Jags minus 3.5 here. Bryce Young, OG Bryce Young comes back.
I guess the 3.5 makes a little bit more sense. You can put Carolina up for me. I actually might sprinkle this a little bit. I'm not the football guy that these guys are, but I don't understand how this line is 4.5. I mean, are we just positive that Jacksonville with a good coach and Travis Hunter is just 4.5 points better than this Jacksonville team? I mean, Trevor Lawrence struggles on the road. There might be struggles in outdoors. There might be a little bit of rain today, and I will give you that the Carolina offense, especially the wide receivers, isn't anything special. But their strength is running the football, like you talked about with that line. I think they're just going to run it down Jacksonville's throats all day. And if Jacksonville, who hasn't had a running game for who knows how long, can't run the football, and you're relying on Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball in a little bit of rain, I think there might be some trouble there. I think I'm actually going to bet Carolina.
Good. Enjoy your L.
I just want to point out 2 things. Someone did ask my team total parlay. It's alt line. It's Jags team total over 20.5, and then Jets team total under 23.5. But also someone said, they don't see the Jags scoring because their offensive line won't hold up. And you know what? Maybe they don't have a great offensive line, but guess what? The Panthers were dead last in pressure rate. It's not like they're going up against some monsters here that are going to put a lot of pressure. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's move on to the next game. God, I'm a disgrace for this. I bet it.
You got a great number. I mean, you got a fantastic number.
No, it's back at 6.5. Number sucks.
Oh, is it?
Sucks.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, shit. We're back in the NFL season, and I'm holding the Giants ticket. Like, get me help. Steve, what do you think?
I don't even know why this is one of my favorite bets. Giants plus 6.5 is what I got. I want to throw up in my mouth, but first of all, as a trend, real quick, week 1 divisional underdogs, just straight up 40, 41, and 2 since 2010, plus 28% ROI. But this is about the head-to-head matchup. This is not me saying the Giants are going to finish close to what the Commanders do this year, but the Giants played the Commanders tough last year. You saw it in both games. They lost 21-18. They had no business losing that one. Commanders didn't score a single touchdown. Lost 27-22 in the second game. And honestly, the Giants were horrendous last year. This Giants team is better this year. I haven't checked yet. Do we know if Andrew Thomas is playing? Please tell me he is.
I thought doubtful. I just wrote it off as no. I'll check if there's an update, but I wrote it off as no. No.
Obviously, he's huge at tackle, but Russell Wilson's an upgrade. It's a sentence I didn't think I'd say. That's how bad it is for Giants fans. But really, what I like here is not only the matchup, the defensive front seven, maybe one of the best in the NFL. It's weird to say they're absolutely loaded. Drafted Abdul Carter, number 3. You got Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. They're going to make life hard on Daniels like they did last year. And obviously, we'll see if McLaurin's in full go shape, signing late and all that kind of stuff. Will we see the same Jaden Daniels? Obviously, he's a stud. I think he's awesome. But do you know what guys what everyone was saying with CJ Stroud going into a second year too? Sometimes there are sophomore slumps. But honestly, I do think he's set up to have a good year. But I don't love the running back room at all for the Commanders. I mean, it's just not pretty at all. They're going to be without their starting guard, Sam Cosmi. But they did add Laramie Tunsil, which is going to be huge there. But overall, defense, average pass rush this season as well. Lost Dante Fowler. They have some question marks. 6.5 is what I got. In a divisional game, these two teams play each other really well. You see it in every sport. When it's divisional games, these teams, they fight and they play and they make their rosters sometimes just to try to beat their division, try to win their division. I think 6.5 is too many. If this game's 21-0 at halftime, I'm going to pull my hair out and say, what the heck am I doing? But I really think the Giants keep it close. I just think it's flat out too much. I think they got a chance to win outright, and I could look really stupid saying that, but that's my bet.
Well, yeah, I'm on the Giants plus 6.5 too. I don't know if Russell Wilson's an upgrade. Honestly, I don't even know if I agree with that. In fact, I'm not even too sold on the Giants offense at all. I think they might be one of the worst offenses in the NFL again this year. And Andrew Thomas, I believe, is listed as doubtful, so I don't believe he's going to play at left tackle. The Giants offensive line is still healthier right now than it was last year, though. They had other problems than just Andrew Thomas. So even though it's bad with no Andrew Thomas and it's not a great offensive line, it's better than it was last year because the other 4 pieces are healthy. Despite the Giants have, and I think we could all agree, the Giants had one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Maybe the worst. No, Cleveland. Jesus. So maybe the second worst offense in the NFL. Terrible offense last year, right? We can all join hands and agree on that. Okay, then how were they moving the ball fluently on Washington twice? 2 games against the Commanders. They averaged 6 yards per play, success rate over 52%. There were 2 games last year where the Giants had no problems moving the chains. Both times they played Washington. And you know what? It makes sense because Washington cannot stop the run at all. They were 28th in the NFL in yards per carry allowed, 24th in success rate per rush. This is a bottom 5, more like bottom 7 run defense last year. What did they do to address it? The answer is nothing. Jeremy Chinn's gone. He's second on the team in tackles. They bring in Will Harris instead. Probably a lateral move there. Bobby Wagner's now 35 years old. He just had a monster season for Washington last year. He had like 135 tackles for the Commanders last year. I would say the only direction that could head is down. Not saying Bobby Wagner won't be a great... Like, are you just hanging your hat on 35-year-old Bobby Wagner is going to give you 135 tackles again?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's the freaking man. I'm just saying, he's 35 now, and if your run defense was bottom 5 or 6 last year, and you're just like, oh, yeah, we're going to get better because Bobby Wagner's going to get better at 35. Like, it's only going to go downhill. They didn't do anything. They brought in Javon Kinlaw. That solves your rushing. I don't know. This was a very bad run defense last year. They didn't do anything to address it. Now, they did bring in a couple pieces in the secondary. They also brought in Von Miller on the edge. So they might have a stronger pass rush. They might be stronger against the pass. But in terms of defending the run, this team didn't do anything to address it. I think the Giants are going to hand the ball off to Tyrone Tracy and move the football in Washington just like they did last year. Now, look. The Washington Commanders offense has Jaden Daniels, and that dude is a superstar, unstoppable force, truly. If he's on his game, he's going to score on the Giants defense. But we do have to keep in mind, the Giants defense is severely upgraded. I mean, they brought in Abdul Carter, stealing all the headlines. How about the secondary? No one's talking about the Giants secondary. They brought in Adebo from the Saints, great corner. They brought in Javon Holland, the safety, great safety. They brought in 2 key pieces to the secondary, in addition to adding Abdul Carter to Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. This team has 3 elite edge rushers, and they actually have a good secondary now. Not to mention Dexter Lawrence in the middle. I'm not saying this Giants defense is going to be top 5, top 10, anything like that, but this is a good defense. Again, if Jaden Daniels is on, he's going to move the football. I just asked you guys this. These are the 2 games from last year. First one, Giants lost 21-18. They scored 3 touchdowns, went for 2 3 times, lost by 3. They didn't have a kicker. They went for it on 4th down a bunch of times during the game because they couldn't line up for a field goal. So I'm not saying, oh, the Giants should have won, nothing like that. I'm just saying that was a nail-biter, coin flip game at the end. Second one, I was on Washington minus 3.5 in that Week 9 game. It was one of my top bets of the week. I was sweating I was sweating. I sweat that entire. That was not a decisive win. The Giants were back and forth with Washington. So let me ask you. Here's these two teams played twice last year. Washington was having a Cinderella season. The Giants were one of the worst teams in the league. These were the results. I think the Giants got better. I think Washington maybe it is the same. I personally think they might be a little worse on defense, but why is plus 6.5 such a crazy bet? Look what happened last year. And that was during the Cinderella season. The Giants were terrible with an injured offensive line. To me, it's like, shit, I got to take the Giants. This is disgusting. I'm going to break everything in my house watching this game. They're going to lose. Washington's going to cover. But I can't. How could I not take the plus 6.5? Lord help me.
Yeah, I tailed you. It looks like the Giants might be one of the more public dogs on the board if you guys, whoever cares about that. But I will also say to that point about them playing last year, Washington has only won 4 times against the Giants the last 13 times that these teams have played. So it really hasn't been pretty any time that they play New York. But, I mean, you guys talked about it. I mean, what's Washington supposed to do offensively with two tackles and they're missing two new tackles and they're missing their guard? It just doesn't really make sense to me. Like everything lines up for, like you guys talked about, our Washington not to cover this game. But look at some of the trends too. I just wanted to point out, I know that Jabbo gave a couple or 1 or 2, but week 1 teams that missed the playoffs, a la the Giants, against a divisional opponent that made it, 41-15-1 ATS. That's 73%. Week 1 divisional dogs, 33-17-1. Week 1 road underdogs that missed the playoffs last year in general since 2011, 61-36-2. There's just everything that you look at on paper you would make you want to take this 6.5 plus the Giants. So I don't know why we're still getting it. I bet it with Kyle. I paid minus 120 for the 6.5. We'll see what happens.
That's funny. After I had the same thought as Kyle there, I was like, crap, I have to take this. This is too many. I remember even yesterday I said, honey, I need you to take the kids out of the house. I have the bet on the Giants in the morning. Yeah. I need them. I need everyone out.
I need everything child-proofed. Oh, for the kids? No, for me. Someone in the comments says, in all capital letters, until I watched Kyle's video, I was all over Washington. Now I'm completely sold on the Giants. Fast forward 4 hours, you'll see an angry comment from that man.
Jabbo and Kyle are idiots.
Cincinnati, Cleveland. Steve, take us away.
Oh gosh. So I have an anytime touchdown, but if we just talk about the game real quick. This is disgusting too, guys. I didn't place a bet, so don't even put this graphic up, please. I can't. I don't think I can have Browns and Giants graphics up side or back to back here. But the Browns, if I could get +6, which you can't anymore, I don't believe at all. But I what did I just say? Don't all put that graphic up. I don't want the Browns. I'm just joking. I'm just giving you crap. No, really. I lean the Browns here though. How can you lay almost a touchdown with the worst defense in the NFL? I that's the thing, as I have to see it. Like Kyle talked about, I agree. Them firing their defensive coordinator was a bad move. It did not help. He was one of the best halftime adjustment defensive coaches in the entire NFL. I don't understand what they were doing. He was literally working with nobody. So I lean Cleveland on this side. I think Flacco can move the ball a little bit. He's a great looking dude, by the way, also. But really, I think this Cleveland defense is actually pretty decent. They held them to 21 and 24 points in the last 2 meetings. This is one of those divisional matchups where, you know what, they know each other really well. The Bengals offense is loaded. I'm not going to lie. I think they're, top 3 offense in this league, but if you cannot stop anybody, Flacco's healthy right now. I lean Browns. It's disgusting, but my only best bet is David Njoku. You can get his anytime touchdown at +250. I like his over receiving yards. I think he has a monster game. Flacco's a guy who loves to throw to tight ends. We've seen some history between Flacco and Njoku. Actually played 5 games together in 2023. In those 5 games, he had 4 TDs, 390 yards on 45 targets. Again, he's facing the Bengals versus tight ends last year, third most yards, second most touchdowns given up. It really doesn't get much worse than that. He played him twice last year. He had 18 total receptions for over 100 yards, scored a touchdown against them, plus 250. One of my favorite value anytime TDs. But yeah, I'm just here to hear Kyle say he took the Browns on the money line, probably.
Nope.
I mean, can Joe Burrow win a game in week 1 or 2?
Go ahead. You like the Browns, Toes? Go ahead.
I don't know if I actually bet them, but I mean, I know for a fact that Joe Burrow is 1-9 straight up and 3-7 ATS his first 2 games of the year, and now you have a veteran quarterback in Joe Flacco that's probably going to lean on that run game a little bit. I think that that Ford kid gets involved a little bit with his running or with his number at 45.5. It would only, I mean, how do you trust the Bengals of what they've shown with when Joe Burrow's there at the beginning of the season to lay points like this on the road? So for me, it would only be Cleveland. I don't know if I actually bet it, but it would only be Cleveland for me.
But Toast, they made it a point. Okay, they didn't do joint practices. They played their starters in the preseason. It's got to change everything, right?
I guess. I know.
I completely agree with you.
I was trying to actually think of a reason why, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but how do you until you saw after what you saw in week 1 losing to the Patriots last year? Oh my gosh, how do you feel this early in the year?
So I think the Bengals might hang 45 points in this game. Honestly, it would only be Cincinnati or the over for me. Didn't bet it, but I think the Bengals are going to tear them up, to be honest. I know the history. I know the division home dogs. I get it. I know that Joe Burrow has struggled specifically with Cleveland. I know that. I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying I don't know if this is the same Browns defense, at least not in week 1. Guys, this defense took some losses. I know you look and you're like, oh, Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward are still there. Same defense. Like, they took some losses from last year. I mean, Dalvin Tomlinson is a real nice defensive tackle for them. He's gone. Juan Thornell's gone. Za'Darius Smith on the edge, although he was only there for 1 year, he's gone. Rodney McLeod, the safety, he's gone. He retired. There's a lot of pieces gone from this Cleveland defense, and 2 of the most important players on the field for this Browns defense are rookies. Granted, they're first and second round picks. Mason Graham and Schlesinger from Michigan and UCLA. I actually like the draft picks. They went defensive tackle and inside linebacker. They're definitely addressing the run defense because Cleveland's kind of had the elite pass rush, but you can run on them kind of identity the last few years. So it looks like they're trying to address the run defense, and maybe it works. But in week 1, 2 rookies on the field, I think Cincinnati's going to march up and down the field in this game. When you go to Cleveland, when you want to do it, early September. You're not trying to go to Cleveland in December. So they lucked out in that respect. The weather should be fine. I thought it was going to be a rain. I originally thought there was a chance of rain, but somebody commented on the video saying that he lives in Cleveland and the weather's fine. Could be a psychopath that commented that. I don't know if that's true. But if the weather's fine here, I don't think Cincinnati's going to have problems moving the ball. Despite the history, this is a new Cleveland defense, and there's just a lot of pressure on the Bengals this year. That last season was a mess, and could you imagine the media circus if Cincinnati's held to like 17 points in this game? I think they're going to hang a big number on Cleveland. It's the reason I don't have a bet. I'm a little torn on whether or not I think the Browns can score back. The Browns' offensive line is finally healthy, and on paper, it is a solid offensive line. The reason I say on paper is they were so injured last year, it's really tough to say for sure. I don't think Flacco's good. I didn't think he was good last year. I don't really think he's an NFL quarterback or anywhere close. But with the offensive line, Cincinnati's defense making the biggest dickhead move in NFL history in firing one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, I don't trust that defense at all. I don't even think they got better. Can the Browns keep up? Not sure. Think Cincinnati puts up a big number.
How dare you say that about Flacco?
What I was looking at originally is I don't know if I can trust Flacco was Bengals Cardinals moneyline parlay. That's what I tried, but I didn't know if I could actually trust Joe Burrow.
Raiders Patriots.
Oh, here we go.
Steve?
Man, there's just some games this week that are just like
I'll kick it off. I got a pick. I got a graphic. They're probably a graphic too. Daniel Carlson over 6.5 kicking points. The time is now, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I just want to say he was last year. He was the number 6 kicker as far as accuracy and points and all that. I trust him. He is a kicker that going back years that I trust. Going back to 2020, he's essentially over 90% in all of his kicks. But a couple things I wanted to look at. One, I think that the Raiders can put up some points today, at least move down the field. And if you look at what Daniel Carlson is like, especially last year, his road splits didn't really look great, but he went 1 for 4 in Kansas City. He didn't miss a kick on the road besides that last year. I have no reason to believe that he doesn't kick well here today, and we're getting this number under 7.5, which I know that it sounds crazy when I start talking about these numbers in the kicking market, but the 6.5 number is just way too low for a veteran who's a top 5 kicker in this league. You guys can call me crazy all you want, but I've given out 2 kicker props already this year. We haven't even had to go to the second half yet. I don't know if this one's going to be the same, but 6.5 from one of a top 5 kicker in this league is just way too much for me to pass up. So yeah, I played Daniel Carlson over 6.5 kicking points. I love it.
So you haven't lost a kicker prop all season?
I haven't even had to get to the second half yet, buddy.
I've been waiting for these kicker props. I popped on one of your videos and I heard Toast say, I just want everyone to know I only research kicker props for an hour. I don't want to sound crazy or anything.
This is what he said. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. He said this one. He actually said this sentence.
Oh, that's funny. Anyways, on this game, I don't have a bet on a side or a total. I will say I do have a player prop that I love, plus money. I'll get into a second. But trends in Drake May's 12 starts last year, the over was 9-3. It was actually 6-1 in his last 7. In those 6, it had 45 or more points. So we've seen a lot of points since Drake May took over. But my player prop is probably one of my favorite plus money props. I don't understand this line. Probably can't get it anymore. But Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions. I got it at plus 135. It just doesn't make sense to me here. Henry's one of the top pass catchers for the Patriots, obviously. They brought in Stephon Diggs. I get it. You got Demario Douglas. Nothing huge. Travion Henderson, all that, but it's not a big worry. In his 11 starts with Drake May last season, he went over 3.5 receptions in 8 of 11 games. He had 5+ in 5 of those 8. He even had 7+ catches in 3 of those games. Over a 21% target share, highest on the team. Obviously, the safety blanket, and also the new offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. Last time Henry was the tight end with McDaniels in 2023, he made 10 starts. He had 59 targets, 41 receptions, 509 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So, I mean, they love to use him. He's a great tight end. Facing the Raiders defense, again, it's hard to just go off last year's numbers, which they did give up the 5th most receptions to tight ends. We have now Pete Carroll. I watched Pete Carroll play that zone defense for over a decade. Tight ends kill us. I mean, it's easy to catch passes there. I don't care about yards. I just care about receptions. So, again, for a guy who does this consistently every single game, I love getting him for just 4+ catches at plus money. But as for a side, I don't know. It's Pete Carroll. It's Chip Kelly. It's too many wild cards, man.
Just really quickly, if you're looking to tail that, you can get Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions on Bet365 for plus 130, just for the record.
Nice. Still there.
So I agree on the over. I do have a bet on the game. I gotta say, I keep hearing opinions from sharp people that everyone seems to like the Raiders. So I'm less confident because every single person who I think has a decent NFL opinion seems to like the Raiders. Well, fuck. I'm on the Patriots minus 2.5. Obviously, as Steve talked about, there's a lot of new pieces on both sides of the ball. There's also just a new era of football here at both programs. So I guess the question would be which is more likely to hit the ground running / who is more talented. And I think there's 2 different answers to those 2 questions. If you're on the Raiders, I think you definitely like that all your pieces are experienced, with the exception of Ashton Genty, Geno Smith. Plenty of experience in the NFL. Raheem Mostert, plenty of experience. On the defense, all their new defensive pieces. Now, the Raiders' defense from last year's gone. They have those 2 edge rushers in Crosby and Kuntz, and then the other guy, Tyree. Can't think of his name. Their 3rd edge rusher, too. But other than that, they're all gone. The entire Raiders' defense from last year is gone. And you think, oh, brand new defense, they're going to need time. And I think that's true. But the pieces they brought in to fill in, they're experienced. Jeremy Chin, Eric Stokes, Jermaine Pratt, Landon Roberts, Devin White. I mean, these are all defensive pieces in the NFL that have multiple year starting experience. Pete Carroll, experienced head coach. Chip Kelly, experienced. So, like, everything about this new Raiders unit is experienced. So maybe that's what they like about the Raiders. I think the Patriots are the better football team. They made a lot of improvement. All their offseason resources went to upgrading this offense. Drake May, who definitely wowed us a bit last year, he's no longer a rookie. He now comes into this one as a seasoned vet with a year experience under his belt. They bolstered the offensive line, and I think people are forgetting how injured the Patriots' offensive line was last year. It was freaking crazy. They spent a lot of the year with 4 starters out. So just by the simple fact that they have a healthy offensive line is an upgrade, number one. Number two, they brought in Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury to play center and right tackle. So, look, a couple of rookies starting on the offensive line. One of them is a first-round pick. There are concerns. Actually, the entire left side of the Patriots' offensive line is rookies. It's Will Campbell, the first-round pick, and then Jared Wilson, I think, is a third-round pick. Sure, that's concerning. It's still better than what they had last year because what they had last year was pathetic. So Drake May's going to have improved offensive line in front of him. He's got Steph Diggs there, brings in Kyle Williams, Trevion Henderson. He's got new weapons to play with. This Patriots offense is significantly better than it was last year, and this Raiders defense is just too new. I think Stevenson could run the football in this Raiders defense. Yeah, I'm on Patriots -2.5. We'll see what Gino's able to do. Throw me a couple picks, Gino. When I bet on you, you're always down to do it.
He's with Pete Carroll, so it's not a new system, obviously, for Gino. He knows Pete Carroll, but yeah, I'm with you on the Patriots if I had to go side though.
Cardinals Saints.
Steve?
Yeah, I'll lead it off. Lean on a side is Cardinals. Saints are horrendous. I have a bet for them to finish with the worst record in the NFL this year. They're playing for a number 1 pick. They're just awful. But my best bet in this game is a player prop. I don't understand this low line. Chris Olave over 47.5 receiving yards. He's the number 1 receiver. This team may suck, but he's battled injuries and all this kind of stuff. I get it. And Spencer Rattler is his quarterback, and I am not going to sit here and tell you he's a good quarterback. He's awful. He's one of the worst in the NFL. But he played 1 full healthy game with Rattler last season, did have 8 receptions for 107 yards. Even if he sucks as a quarterback, you get peppered with, he got 14 targets that game. You give him another 14 targets, I mean, he better be going over 47.5. But it's not just about that one game. This offense has made it a point. They got to get this guy the ball. Spencer Rattler, and I quote, said, "The dude is different. I make it a key point when he's in, I get him the ball." I fact-checked it. He is not a liar. He has never lied in his life. It's happening. Olave is all over the field. If you watch in the preseason and listen to the new head coach Moore, in the preseason, he's using the slot outside. They're trying to do anything they can to get him all over the formation. And then overall last season, he was healthy for 6 full games. Yes, that's probably the biggest thing I worry about. Can he actually be healthy for 4 quarters? But he did go over this in 4 of those 6. When he goes over, it's by quite a bit. I mean, because he's a stud receiver. 81, 86, 87, 107. That one of them was against the Eagles, one against the Chargers. He's facing a Cardinals defense. They've struggled for a while now. In fact, they haven't had a good secondary, I think, since Patrick Peterson left. It's been a while. They did draft Will Johnson in the 2nd round, but again, rookie. Last season, Cardinals gave the 10th most receptions to wide receivers, 68% completion percentage to wide receivers. And then game script, the Saints not only will be playing from behind this game, they will be playing from behind all season long. This team is bad. Rattler's pass attempts is set at 33.5. I cannot imagine Olave not getting 48 yards. I think it's a disrespectful line for a team that's going to throw a lot, and he's their number 1 guy. So I don't know. I love it.
Toast?
I would try to pick off one of these Arizona wide receivers, not Marvin Harrison, because he's like 125. You can put up Arizona for me. I'm not betting aside, but I was looking at this game trying to figure out a way just to find something for the show, and that if the Saints continue to play man coverage and you have Kellen Moore with a whole bunch of new toys on this offense with Kyler Murray, I would assume that he can draw something up for some of these wide receivers like Greg Dortch or something like that with a huge plus price. But as far as a side, it would only be Arizona for me. I'm not actually going to be betting it, though.
Kellen Moore is the coach for the Saints. He's on the wrong name.
Oh, sorry. I bet.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I'll put this up. I was listening to a sports gambling podcast. It was yesterday, the day before yesterday. And the way he phrased it was, we might be in a situation where they just can't make the number high enough in these Saints games. And I thought that kind of nailed it. This team sucks. This is bad. So enter Kellen Moore. All right. So how about this? We all know why the Saints are terrible, and we all know what their strengths are for the Cardinals. They bring back the same exact offense. They were one of the most efficient rushing attacks in the NFL last year. They should be the exact same thing this year. Cardinals like a top 10 offense, top 5 rushing offense, second in the NFL yards per carry. They bring back the same unit. We know what the strengths are for the Cardinals. We know why the Cardinals should dominate the Saints. So I'll try to play devil's advocate here. And if you are betting the Saints, I'll try to give you something. All right. The Saints had one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year, 31st in yards per carry allowed, 30th in success rate. And now that makes back-to-back years where the Saints were legitimately one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Team hasn't stopped the run in a couple years now. Good news, they actually, unlike last year, they actually made moves to improve on that. They're bringing Godshaw from the Patriots. He's been a great run-stopping piece for them for years. It's a nose tackle in the middle. You also bring in two new safeties that can tackle in Justin Reed and Julian Blackmon, experienced starting safeties. So the Saints did address their problem of being the worst run defense in the NFL. Now, does that mean they could stop this Cardinals rushing offense, one of the toughest, most dynamic rushing attacks? No, of course not. But at least they addressed it in terms of their defense against the run. So there's something. Something else, and it pertains to Spencer Rattler. And I don't want to get labeled as a Spencer Rattler apologist or anything, if those exist. Is there like a fan group? Send me your newsletter. So Spencer Rattler. So I've been following this guy for a while, right? Anyone who watches college football has. And his final year in college there at South Carolina, this dude had no offensive line. South Carolina, the worst offensive line in the SEC. And Spencer Rattler was literally running for his life. And I remember saying, like, dude, we really don't know how good this dude is because he never has a chance. They had no running game. And the offensive line, literally every snap was Spencer Rattler dropping back and running for his life. Every snap. So that was my take on Spencer Rattler there in his final year at South Carolina. He goes to the Saints, and as a rookie, he's thrown into this offense that had a completely injured offensive line, and he was pressured on over 37% of his drive. It was like rinse, lather, repeat. It was like the same thing where it's like, dude, Spencer Rattler's numbers from last year are terrible. I mean, 5.78 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 500. They're bad. He was one of the least efficient quarterbacks in the NFL last year. But the offensive line has improved. They went out and drafted Kelvin Banks Jr. in the first round. I believe that was 9th overall. They got Fuaga on the other side. Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz on the offensive line, both healthy, which was not the case last year. The Saints offensive line has improved. So if you're a Saints fan or a Spencer Rattler apologist, we'll say, you can say, we've never seen this guy throw from a clean pocket. We've never seen this guy with protection. And I think that is a fair point. Is that enough to make me bet the Saints? No, there's not enough gold. It would take all of King Midas's silver to make me do that here. And you could say the Cardinals defensive line was one of the worst in the NFL, right? So you're like, oh, they're not going to get pressure on Spencer Rattler. The Cardinals are one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL. So there's another point for the Saints. But the Cardinals kind of addressed that. They brought in Josh Sweat from the Eagles, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson. This is a brand new, completely revamped Cardinals defensive line. There's not many positives for the Saints. I tried to play devil's advocate there. So I guess Cardinals are best. I don't know.
I screwed up. I have a kicking prop in this game. I forgot that Mr. Chad Ryland is on the board. Chad Ryland, over 7.5 kicking points. Did not miss a kick the last 3 weeks of the regular season last year. 4 for 4 on kicks plus 40 or plus 50 yards or more, and 17 for 17 inside the 40. He's going to be picking in a dome today as well. I think that Arizona puts up some points, and I think that he kicks us into another winner.
Do you know what his kicking stats are in high school?
No, I do not.
I just didn't know how to on these.
Don't me. I got my good splits too with all these kickers. I got a nice little. Oh yeah. That's good. Oh yeah.
I give you so much crap, but I tail some of these. So.
Oh, the Sauce still gives me crap, and then everybody's like, leave him alone.
Stop bullying him.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't catch the first time. Now he'll leave him alone.
I get accused of bullying TV Jones all the time too.
Me too.
The Brewers are really good, guys.
I dare you guys to talk baseball with TV Jones an hour a night and not bully him. It's impossible. It's just like I can't not. Bucks Falcons. Steve, take us away.
Yeah, I got a best bet in this game. I like the over here. I got a 46.5 minus 116. But I mean, if we talk these two last head-to-head meetings, 31-26 and 36-30 last year. So they scored 57 and 66 points. Now we have Falcons last two games also with Penix at the end of the year scored 54 and 82 points. Just a lot of points here. Defenses now the offensive line. We know both are missing at a big offensive lineman. That sucks. Tristan Wirfs for Tampa Bay, McGarry for Atlanta. There might be one more offensive lineman missing for Atlanta. Actually, it's not just McGarry, but either way, I think both teams struggle to rush the passer, so it helps a little bit there. Bucks added Hassan Reddick. The Bucks only get pressure when they blitz, though. They blitzed at the third highest rate. They really couldn't get any pressure without it. Falcons, 8th lowest pressure rate last year, 2nd fewest sacks. They did add some pieces. Leonard Floyd, 33 years old now, but added 2 first-round edge rushers. Obviously, rookies. We'll see how that pans out, but they did address it at least. But secondaries, Bucks drafted, much needed help, but still, corner is a weakness for this team. You got Jesse Bates in the secondary at safety for the Falcons. Outside of Terrell, I think they struggle on the outside. But offenses, these are just absolutely 2 explosive offenses. I don't think Tampa will be as good as last year offensively, but I still think they will be pretty solid. Obviously, you got star running backs, receivers all over the field. And the line that every Falcons fan needs to hear is that the Kyle Pitts needs to be involved more. That's what happens all the time. They've said it over and over, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully he is, because if he can actually get going, Drake London was probably the best receiver in the NFL when Penix took over in regards to receptions, targets, all that kind of stuff at least. But I really think we're going to get just another huge high-scoring game like we always see between these teams. So give me the over on this one.
It would only be Atlanta for me, or pass. I wish I would have got the 2.5, so I wasn't sitting on a 1.5 number. But I mean, we're getting Todd Bowles against a kind of an inexperienced line here. I expect the Tampa Bay defense to be just fine, but I at the same time, I don't really trust them to score. I think they got kind of lucky last year, and now you're not going to have that McMillan kid. You're not going to have Chris Godwin. The Kate Otten's not 100%. I just don't know if I can really trust them, and not to mention the fact that we know that divisional home dogs have been very, very trendy and very, very good since 2012, 18-4 since 2012. So it would only be Atlanta for me. I don't know if I can actually bet it, though.
So Steve's right. We did see 2 shootouts from these teams last year. There was not a stop in sight. The Falcons averaged 7.4 yards per play. 7.4 yards per play in their 2 games against the Bucs last year. Tampa Bay had no answer to this Falcons offense. Kirk Cousins threw for like 800 yards in those 2. It was crazy. Neither team could make a single stop. The Falcons actually won both of those games, but they were both shootouts, 36-30, 31-26. I don't know if I agree with that over, to be honest. I am not big on the Bucs offense this year. I think losing Liam Cohen is serious. That's kind of who that offense kind of rejuvenated Baker Mayfield's career. He comes into this one missing 2 key weapons. There's no Godwin. There's no McMillan. Yeah, Ibuka steps in, but that's a rookie. So, I mean, you still got Evans and Otten and the rookie. So it's not like they have no weapons, but you're also missing Tristan Wirfs in this one. I think the Bucs offense is going to struggle, and I'm not big. I think this, in addition to they're coming in a little banged up and lose their OC, in addition to that, I feel they overperformed like crazy. This offense was 2nd in the NFL in yards per play. I do not think this is a top 5 offense. Do you guys think the Bucs are a top 5 offense again? I don't.
No, I really don't, but I don't think they necessarily need to be top 5 for here. But I think Bucky Irving in this ground game's been huge for them. And if they can continue that, I know without Wirfs it might be tougher, but it's the ground game that really set everything up. And I'm a huge Ibuka guy. I know he's a rookie. He's a receiver, though. I think he can step right in and just absolutely dominate, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to make a case for the Falcons' defense improving. It's maybe you like Ulbrich. They're bringing the DC from the Jets, so maybe you like the DC hire. But as far as personnel goes, nothing's really jumping off the page here for the Falcons. I like their draft pick with Xavier Watts at safety. I don't know how immediate of an impact that is. I really don't. This is such a tough game. Such a coin flip game. The Bucs defense, as we talked about, had no answer for the Falcons offense last year. Does that change? I mean, Zach Robinson is still calling the plays for the Falcons. Does he just have a Bull's number? Because he cooked him up both times he saw him last year. But at the same time, I think the Falcons offensive line got significantly worse. So they still bring back Jake Matthews and Lindstrom, two of their most important pieces, but Caleb McGarry, their right tackle's out for the season, and Drew Dahlman no longer plays for this team. He's on the Bears now. So two key starters from the Falcons offensive line are not here. I'll put Falcons up. I really don't know. I originally said Falcons when it was like +2. Now that the Falcons are favored, I have no idea. I'm just going to put Falcons up, but this feels like such a coin flip to me.
Yeah, McGarry be on that blind side. It's really hard to bet them with confidence, too.
Oh, yeah, blind side is a lefty. Titan. You doing it, Toast?
Yo, I haven't yet. I got the 9, so we're here. I did bet Brandon McManus over his kicking points, so you should have a graphic for that. But anyway, actually, no, sorry. He doesn't play for Broncos anymore. Sorry. Did you do it?
No.
Are you going to do it?
Steve, what are you doing?
I am going with a lean. There's no way I can bet the Titans, and there's no way I can lay this many points with the Broncos. My lean is the Titans team total under. I don't know how you could back a team with a rookie quarterback going into this environment. Like, this is just absolutely brutal. Top 3 defense. Now it's on the road. Tony Pollard's his running back. He's dealing with Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett. I do think the O-line's better for Tennessee, but I mean, I think this Broncos defense, like I said, top 3 in yards per rush attempt, scoring defense, net yards per pass attempt. Just good on all levels of the defense. I think Ridley can get shut down here. I just can't imagine a way. The only way I could see Tennessee scoring any points is maybe getting some big defensive plays. But again, +9 is a lot. You know, you're down 14, you get a backdoor cover at the end, possibly. But just 2 quick trends. Since Sean Payton returned from his coaching suspension, 3-18-1 ATS in weeks 1 and 2. No one talks about that. We always talk about the Bengals. Sean Payton has been awful in weeks 1 and 2. But on the other side,
toast, bro.
I'm telling you, Sean Payton has been awful. But anyway, Bo Nix, 8-0 straight up and 8-0 last season against the spread as a favorite, I believe it was. First time ever as a rookie. This guy covered spread after spread. Again, it was because the books just thought the Broncos were awful and they played better and all that. But I wanted 17.5 to take the Titans under. I think it's 16.5 right now. So I didn't bet it, but this is a tough one.
I really want to bet Tennessee, guys. For me, it's kind of like putting my middle finger up to the world because I know everybody has the Broncos in their teasers and they got Broncos -8.5 and they're going to do alt lines and everybody sees the rookie quarterbacks on the road and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, I think that we can all agree that Cam Ward is a step up in class from Will Levis. I also think that we can all agree that the offensive line has gotten a little bit better. They brought in a couple free agents and stuff like that. So I don't think that this Tennessee team is nearly as bad as what they were. And I also don't think that you can just pencil in Denver personally. And I'm not a big football guy like everybody else here, but I just don't think that you can pencil in that Denver defense at the same rate that they were playing last year in week 1 here. I know that Bo Nix looked really, really good last year, but I don't really know if we can, again, I don't know if we can just trust him to do this all in week 1 as well. And then again, week 1 underdogs of more than 8 points, 24-9 ATS since 2023, and they're covering at like 4 points a game. So I feel like the world, and I like being in this position, but the world's going to be on Denver in every way possible. It wouldn't shock me if Cam Ward comes out there and does something crazy tonight or today. Give me the Titans. I actually might just play this. I might take my 9 on Caesars and see what happens. It's the only book that's at 9. I also think if Denver's so good and everybody in the world's betting Denver, why is there only 1 9 on the board? Why isn't this number continuing to move up? So it would only be Tennessee for me.
Well, you said one thing that was a little ludicrous. You don't think Denver comes out and looks as good as they did last year defensively. They bring back everyone and they add Greenlaw and Hufanga. So I think they're in position to be even
Why
better.
isn't the line moving?
I'll tell you why, if you let me finish my analysis. So this Denver defense, you could probably make an argument that they were the best defense in the NFL last year. I believe they were second in yards per play, third in success rate, something like that. Now, the counter argument to that, they did play an easier schedule, and I'm sure some Broncos haters would be quick to retort with that. So maybe not the best defense in the NFL last year. Certainly one of them. They bring back basically everybody except Cody Barton. They replaced that with Dre Greenlaw, and then they added Hufanga, the safety. So this elite defense is pretty much all back, and they even added a couple pieces. In addition to, all the, I'm sure, the trends that are being shared there with the rookie quarterback making their first NFL start. They're disgusting. I mean, rookie quarterbacks making their first NFL start typically don't fare well. In addition to that person being on the road in Mile High, which is also unique with the altitude against this defense. In addition to all of that, what does Vance Joseph do a lot of? Blitz. You blitz all night. I mean, this team is, Vance Joseph's going to be sending the house at Cam Ward, and the Titans offensive line should be in better shape, and that's kind of what the pitch was when the Titans brought in Callahan. They were going to turn the Titans into a team that has an identity of having this tough offensive line. Good luck, man. The Broncos dogs are coming, and it's going to be tough for the Titans to do anything in this game. I mean, Cam Ward better be the best quarterback ever. If he pieces up the Broncos defense, they should build a statue for him in Nashville now. That being said, the reason, in my opinion, that we're not seeing this Broncos number up at 10, I think we need to pump the brakes on the Bo Nix worship. Yeah, he played well down the stretch there, and he might have a promising future. I'm not saying Bo Nix sucks or anything, but guys, I don't know how good this Broncos offense is. I mean, you got a great defense, puts your offenses in solid positions, and I'm pumping the brakes. I don't know if the Broncos offense is necessarily great, but what about the Titans defense? We're just going to forget that the Titans spent most of the last year with an entire starting defense on the IR. The whole defense was on the IR last year. You were 2 years ago when all those guys were healthy, Simmons and Joseph Day and what's the other piece? Sweat from Texas. Well, he was a rookie last year, but those guys are, I mean, the Titans usually show us a very strong defensive front. In fact, you were 2 years ago, I believe they were the best run defense in the NFL. So 1 year where the whole defense gets injured and we just forget that this Titans defense is elite. Oh, they got L'Jarius Sneed out there playing corner now too. Didn't play much last year, but be under for me. I think that's why we're seeing this number stay at 9. I don't know if these sharp bettors are necessarily sold on Denver offensively, and I think this is a buy low on the Titans defense. I think both offenses are going to struggle to move the ball. Go under.
I completely agree. I might actually bet the under because it was Titans team total under or the under in the full game. I'm with you. I don't know if I don't see Nick's having as good of a year as last year. I think the book's going to be out on him. And I like the Titans defense was supposed to be good. I remember us talking about it last year, how amazing they were going to be, and then they got hurt and it didn't matter. But also real quick, underdogs of 6.5 or more in week 1 since 2006, 49-27 against the spread. Just a trend if you're trying to back the Titans. Not saying I recommend it, but just letting you know.
I'm in. All my hooligans, we're taking the 9 on Caesars. I'm in. Everybody said the Jets and Browns defenses were going to be really good last year going into the year. They were not.
Okay. Hey, I wish you luck with that.
I'm actually kind of excited now. You got me pumped up.
I get you hype?
Yeah.
9-0.
Started talking about the Tennessee defense. I was like, I was in. I was sold.
I wasn't trying to pitch you anything. I was just giving my analysis.
That's the best part. You didn't have to. You just gave me straight analysis. I took it into my own cap and I made a bet.
I can't help it if I'm compelling as hell.
Wait, is that what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to listen to cappers and just like use your own opinion and like form your own bet?
I suppose that's how you do it. I suppose that's the blueprint. 49ers Seahawks in Seattle. For those of you that don't know, Steve is from Seattle and he's a diehard Seahawks fan. So Steve, tell us about your team. I'm sure you've got your finger on the pulse there.
I got my finger on the Seahawks pulse. Let me just say this, though. Being a Mariner fan is making me want to throw up. Oh, my God. Anyways, it's not a baseball
Hey,
review.
you pick this today?
Go ahead.
I didn't want to talk about them right anymore. I'm done. I got to change teams. So if you have a new team in baseball, 39 years is enough. 49ers at Seahawks. I don't have a best bet in this game, but here's what I'm going to say. Under is my strong lean here. I think the Seahawks are going to have a top 10 defense. I think they have a legitimate defense this year, maybe top 5. They're going to surprise some teams. They were the top 8 defense in the last 5 or 6 weeks of last season. McDonald, we know, a brilliant defensive mind. They took them from 30th in yards allowed to last year 14th. Leonard Williams, huge year, 11 sacks. Derek Hall, 8 sacks. Byron Murphy to make a big leap. In my opinion, I think he will, first rounder. Jerron Reed had a solid season last year on the D-line. And then on top of that, they drafted a guy who can never pronounce his name, Emmanuel, in the second round, first-round talent, safety. I mean, Julian Love and him could potentially, again, he's a rookie, could potentially be a great duo. Devon Witherspoon is one of the more underrated DBs. Tariq Woolen, the second DB there, pretty solid on the outside as well. I just think they're legit. What's kind of holding me back from betting this game is I don't know what to expect from the 49ers here. I think their defense is a complete wild card to me. I don't know what we're going to get on offense. Obviously, they lost Debo. Brandon Ayuk is out for a long time. Now Christian McCaffrey is hurt. Obviously, it sounds like he's going to play. They're counting on George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall, which I think will have a pretty good year. But Seahawks offense overall this year, or in this year, is also one of those wild cards. We got Sam Darnold behind. What I am worried about is a bad O-line. And you know what? Maybe they surprise me. I just really worry about their O-line. Sam Darnold's not a guy who's going to scramble all over the place and just, a speed demon or anything. But I think they can run the ball pretty well here with Kenneth Walker. And I'm a Charbonnet guy, too. I think he should he'll be getting a lot of carries by week 4 when Walker's out for 3 more months. But in the last meeting, both teams didn't even reach 300 yards. So I think we see another one of those games, defensive battle. But again, 49ers are kind of a wild card. I really don't know what to expect from them. I don't have my finger on the 49ers pulse, but I really think we have a Seahawks defense that's going to surprise a lot of teams. I think they're going to play really well this year.
Yeah, I agree completely. And this is another game that's really tough. I mean, guys, Brock Purdy's still there, but it's still Kyle Shanahan's team. This is not the 49ers team that was just like an auto bet, an auto win. This team's a shell of itself. So obviously, as I'm sure you know, Deebo Samuel no longer plays there. Ayuk is still hurt. Aaron Banks is also gone, and he's been a key offensive lineman for them for years. And remember when Trent Williams was on and off the field, and we were talking about Trent Williams. Aaron Banks was a key cornerstone there on that offensive line. He's not there anymore either. And we've seen what happens when this 49ers offensive line isn't winning the battles. It doesn't look the same. Then you add in the fact that, how Juwan Jennings can play for the 49ers, but they don't really have much of a threat on the outside in terms of playing the sidelines with wide receivers. Makes their offense, gives McDonald a lot more flexibility in terms of calling plays on the defensive side. The 49ers offense might be limited here, guys. And the Seahawks defense, when we talk about the Seahawks offense, I have no freaking idea. I have no clue how that's going to look. The Seahawks defense is kind of loaded here. I mean, not only does you get Mike McDonald, by the way, Mike McDonald built that Baltimore Ravens defense that we've come to know and love. He's got a loaded roster there on defense, and that's what they brought Mike McDonald in to do. Seahawks brought him in, build us an elite defense like you did in Baltimore. This defense is so loaded. They bring in DeMarcus Lawrence like you were talking about. This Seahawks defense is really, really good. And if it wasn't for the Houston Texans, I would say this might be the best defense in the NFL. I think the Texans are freaking nuts. Yeah, this defense is so good, and that's the only unit in this game. I'm not sold on the 49ers defense either. There's no Greenlaw anymore. There's no Travarius Ward anymore. Those guys that we look at as synonymous with the 49ers defense, a lot of them are gone. So I don't really know what I think about the 49ers team. I don't even know what I think about Kyle Shanahan anymore. It seems like their window might be slightly closing. If there's one unit in this game that I trust, it's Seattle's defense. So I'm going to bet on that. I didn't bet this, but I'm down. Let's do it. Seattle, do I have a +1?
I like it. Also, even if McCaffrey plays, we're not getting full McCaffrey here at all. There's no way.
See if there's 2.5 on BetMGM sauce still. That's the best number you might get.
1.5.
Damn. I'm on Seattle. Okay, for me, couple things for me. I like the fact that I don't really worry about having to worry about Sam Darnold because we've seen in the preseason with under this new Kubiak style that Seattle's going to run the ball. And I think that if there's one thing that we can all agree about San Francisco last year is that they struggled versus the run. They allowed the 5th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. They let 10 running backs rush for 70 plus yards last year. And they gave up a league high of 18 rushing touchdowns to opposing running backs. Kenneth Walker looks healthy. You guys talked about the Seattle defense. And I don't really trust that San Francisco offense either. I know that San Francisco's had their way with this Seattle team, but I think there's a reason that this game is below 1.5, below 2 points. I think that Seattle wins this game at home.
Let's go. I'll bet this with you, Toast. I haven't bet that. I'm down to bet that, the Seahawks.
Let's go Hawks, baby.
Guys, keep in mind, for week 1, doing a lot of gambling here. I mean,
this is fun. Yeah, I was going to say, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that are newer to the channel, you might have seen it in the last couple of weeks, and this is a good learning experience. You've seen college football week 1. Right, took a lot of losses, didn't get good numbers. Then college football week 2, when we were on it, we jumped on those numbers early and had some better results because we got +4 that closed at +2.5. That's how you garner some value. So with NFL week 1, if you want to take NFL betting seriously and you're like, oh, I want to get some great bets in week 1, you should have been done betting like a month ago. It's right now you're a little late to the party. But hey, no shame in doing some gambling. I'm doing it.
Also, can you refrain from taking shots at Pullman from now on? Thank you.
The Pullman refs are on the payroll, bro.
Hey,
Pullman, Washington. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Did you not see the Cougars last night?
I watched the game, but what a dumpster fire that area is. I've been to Pullman for some parties. It was bad.
Oh yeah, because Seattle is so much better. Oh yeah, let's all go party in Seattle.
I hate Seattle, so I'm with you.
I know.
I do want to say 40. I think this total for that Seahawks game was like 45.5, 46 at one point. It's 43.5 now. I mean, it is going down quick.
Steve, Lions Packers.
Yes. Boy, did this guy get paid last night. I love me some JMO. Jameson Williams is my prop. I got 2 props, actually. Jameson Williams over 51.5 receiving yards. Like I said, like these guys say, betting week 1 is tough. I really do think there's some advantages for player props. I think some books are putting out some lines that, you may not get later on in the year. Hopefully this is one of them. But last year we saw him. He broke out, had like a 12 A-dot, making big chunk plays. But this season, he's going to run a lot more routes in Detroit. All reports confirm that. Again, these guys don't lie. No one lies on the internet or on TV. So I'm expecting Jameson Williams to not just be a guy that goes deep and catches these long, deep crossing routes. I think he's going to be have a much higher floor, I guess. Not as much boom or bust. I think this guy's a beast. If you don't know, first-round pick at Alabama, just an absolute stud. Had some injuries and off-the-field stuff. But in his last 3 games in the regular season playoffs, he had 143 and 77 in 2 of them. This may be the time to take him because I think we're going to get higher lines here. In his only game against the Packers last year, 80 receiving yards. The Packers' defensive weakness here is the secondary, especially the corners. No more Jair Alexander, no more Eric Stokes. I mean, what are we dealing with? Bullard and I think Nixon. I don't think they're slowing these receivers down. They did add some pass rushers. Obviously, a guy named Micah Parsons. I think the overreaction to Micah Parsons right now is too much. First of all, we are in week 1. He just joined the team. He's taking injections for his back already. If he plays, he is not playing every single snap, and I don't see him going out there and being just some crazy Micah Parsons. And maybe first quarter he gets 3 sacks and I look like an idiot, but I really don't think he's going to be as big here. So I think Jameson Williams has a big game here over the yards. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, anytime touchdown. If you guys followed Jahmyr Gibbs last year, he scored a touchdown all the time. And I got this at -115 on DraftKings. It will not be -115 every week. And it wasn't last week. I know Montgomery's healthy, but it really doesn't matter. Last season, including the 1 game in the playoffs, this man scored 22 touchdowns. 22. And we're getting a -115. Again, I like to stay plus money on touchdowns usually. This was just too good to pass up. He scored a touchdown in both games against Packers last year. They were average last year in touchdowns allowed to running back. So I like him here. But on top of those 2 props, I was close to pulling the trigger. I like Lions money line. I flat out think they win this game. And here's the deal. And maybe you want to take the points, but last time in Green Bay, the Lions were 2.5 point favorites. We're talking a 5-point swing since then is what we think has happened. I know the Lions lost coordinators. I know they lost an offensive lineman. I still think they're a solid team. Maybe +2, +2.5 is the way to go. I just think there's a little overreaction on the Packers. Again, I have not bet the Lions, but I will say, but I do like those two props. Just curious to see what you guys think. Obviously, it looks like Toast is on the cheeseheads here.
I am. I bet the Packers last night at minus
Terrible
130
pick.
on the money line. Huh?
Terrible pick.
I'm crazy? Terrible?
No, it's a bad bet.
That's all right. I've had many of those in my past.
We've seen.
I obviously for me, you have Detroit, who's going to be missing both of those coordinators and having new coordinators. That's huge for me. But more or less, I'm getting Matt LaFleur at Lambeau Field, where he's 7-0 the first 3 weeks of the season. They're 15-3 ATS over the first 3 games since he's joined the Packers. Not to mention the fact that last year, when these two teams played, they were really competitive games, but the Lions were 6 for 7 in fourth down conversions, and 4 of those 7 plays went for touchdowns. If they have that same type of success without the coordinators and all that stuff, so be it. But I think that we're getting a really decent line on the Packers, who showed over the last few years that they're able to play early in home games. I know everybody likes the Lions in general. I've already bet the Packers. I really like this bet.
Hold on, real quick. What did you say they were? They're good at home in the first few weeks. What were you saying?
Yeah, 7-0 ATS at home in Lambeau, first 3 weeks of the season.
Well, they lost to the Eagles by 5, so maybe they covered the spread there, and then they beat the Colts by 6. Was their first 2.
I'm just showing you what my Bet Labs has.
Interesting. No, okay.
Yeah, I'm on Lions +2 here, and bro, there's always attempts to find reasons to bet against the Lions. The truth is, Dan Campbell just covers the number every freaking time. Doesn't matter if they're the most public bet side of the week, because they are every single week, and they always cover. Dan Campbell's record against the spread as a head coach is freaking nuts. It's the best in the NFL. The dude does nothing but cover numbers. And yeah, this week it's the coordinators, or, they lost a piece on the offensive line. You could always find, it's Michael Parsons. You could always find reasons, but the truth is it doesn't freaking matter, because all this dude does is cover. So yeah, I bet the Lions +2. Look, Michael Parsons, it's not Michael Parsons' fault. So like, I don't want it to. That's a media circus that's been blown way out of proportion. Michael Parsons is an edge rusher. The Lions bulldoze their opponents. They hand the ball off behind Sewell and Taylor Decker and literally bulldoze their opponents between the tackles. Parsons can't do shit. I've seen Parsons get pancaked plenty of times. I mean, like, he's an outstanding edge rusher and athlete. But in terms of what the Lions do, Parsons is a non-fact. In fact, I wouldn't even want him on the field if I'm the Packers against the Lions. They literally hand the ball off and bulldoze their opponents full speed ahead. What is Parsons going to do? He's like 220 pounds. What the fuck's Parsons going to do against that? Parsons is good against quarterbacks that try to stand in the pocket. That's and he's amazing at it. He's not a factor against the Lions. Lions are going to hand the ball off, pound it between the tackles. Yeah, all Dan Campbell does is cover. Maybe Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson could be a huge loss. We'll see. We don't know for sure, but until Dan Campbell shows me he's done covering the number every freaking time, I'm going to bet Lions +2. Also, dude, I've had enough of TV Jones. Like, I just need this team to lose. I can't stand the Brewers and the Packers. I hate the entire state of Wisconsin doing a show with TV Jones, honestly.
Jared Goff is also very good at the beginning of the season. He's 8-0 ATS, something like that, versus early ones.
Right.
So
yeah,
you can make all those same cases that I made for the Lions as well. And Kenny Clark is probably huge missing for the Packers.
Correct. Yep. 2 things real quick on that. I've seen Micah Parsons go stretches of the season where he's non-existent.
Non-existent.
I mean, like, not even, like, you forget. One time I think I checked last year. Is this guy hurt? What's going on? I haven't heard his name in forever. He hasn't had a sack. He hasn't had many pressures. It's still, he's not going to just change this complete game. And on Kyle's point, the best in NFL history last 4 years, in a 4-year span. Dan Campbell's 47, 20, and 1. That is just insane against the spread.
And every single week, people will find reasons to bet against them. And by the way, I am guilty of that plenty of times. So I'm not saying like no one else gets it. I bet against the Lions. I found reasons to bet against the Lions here and there. Every week you'll hear something like, they're a public dog, or the coordinator's gone, or whatever bullshit Toast just spew.
When you said that, I felt so dumb. I was like, damn, I actually felt it sounded good in my head. And then you said it and I was like, damn it. Damn it.
Yeah.
I think it's from the Lions being awful for the last 30 years. So we all just want to.
There's an adjustment period.
Yeah.
All right. I want to bet the Seahawks. Remind me to bet the Seahawks, Toast, because I don't have that bet. Texans Rams. I think this is the best defense in the NFL. Now,
Which one?
Houston.
Okay, good.
I think this defense is really, really good. Now, C.J. Stroud sucks on the road, and this offensive line might be laughable. But the defense, as good as advertised. What do you think, Steve?
I'm agreeing with you on a lot of these teams, but Texans, in my opinion, are going to be a top 5 defense. I don't think anybody's talking about it. I think they could be under machines this year, the Texans games, and you might want to jump on that early. I don't have a best bet in this game. Matthew Stafford's back. Maybe he's completely fine. They're overblowing it. I just don't know what to expect from him. But I think Nico Collins has a huge game here. I think he's just an absolute beast.
I love him.
At least he better be. He's on every single one of my fantasy teams. But I do worry about this Texans O-line. I worry about this offense. Outside of Collins, they have practically nobody. So I am worried about this offense. But I think they're under machines. And I would lean under here in this game. But again, I don't have a bet. Maybe Texans +3, but that's trusting their offense too. So again, not knowing what to expect from Stafford, it's under or pass.
Yeah, you said you don't have a best bet in the game. Sounds like you're on the same page as me. I bet the under here. This Texans defense, like Steve said, not really getting talked about. I don't know why, because they were one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, and they added some pieces. They added Sheldon Rankins on the defensive line. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is there now, although, wait, is he banged up? Before I go any further, I don't know if C.J. Gardner, I think I read that he sat out a couple practices. No, he's playing. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's still not healthy. Autry is hurt, and I think Jimmy Ward is still hurt as well for the Texans. But so it's not completely healthy. But they were injured. Remember, they were injured for a lot of last year, and they were still one of the best defenses in the NFL. And not to mention, they showed up in some big games. This Texans defense, second half of the year, came to be a unit I really could hang my hat on when trying to price out these games and trying to get a feel for where the numbers should be. Pricing the Texans defense as elite was pretty accurate, and I think it's going to be the case to start this year. I really like this defense. Now the offense, I don't know what the deal is with this offensive line. It was so bad last year. A couple things. So one, the offensive line was so bad last year. Did it even get better? I don't even think so. Number two, C.J. Stroud just forgot how to handle pressure, because rookie C.J. Stroud actually made some great decisions, got rid of the football, actually had really nice looking numbers when pressured. I remember talking about it like, how is this rookie so good under pressure? It was the opposite last year. And the offensive line doesn't get better. And another thing that's true about C.J. Stroud is, dude, his numbers on the road away from Houston have never been as good his entire career. Against a Rams defense that I think is a little undervalued. The Rams defense are tough to get a feel for, because in the beginning of the year, they were like the worst in the NFL, and they were actually playing some strong defense on the stretch. So I don't really know where to price the Rams defense. I think they're okay, and I think they're maybe a little underrated, but I don't trust this Texans offense anymore. Certainly not away from Houston. CJ Stroud's in the, I have CJ Stroud in the, you got to prove it to me category. I'm maybe more inclined to trust him in a home game. But I think the Texans are going to struggle to move the ball, but I think that defense is official. I would lean Houston plus the 3. You can get a 3 and a hook out there if you look. Never mind, you got to pay for it. But yeah, I did bet this under. Toast.
Kicking prop in this one. This is like one of the most outrageous lines I've seen so far in the couple years I've been doing this. Kaimi Fairbairn over 6.5 kicking points at -105. I think getting this number at 105 or below is an indication of how bad this Texans offense is, because not only was he one of the best kickers in football last year, he had over 16 plus attempts from 50 yards. So that means that they trust him to kick the ball deep. And he was 13 for 16 on those. So it's not like he was bad. So they're going to let him kick. It's going to be inside. We have Nico Collins on the other side. For Houston, we can get those long receptions. I just don't understand this number. And like I said, if we can give him multiple opportunities from 50 plus, whether it be at the end of halves or anything like that, I think that we can get up and over this number. I honestly think this should be at like 7.5 juice, to be honestly. I don't understand why we're getting -6.5. I know that sounds crazy talking about kicking props, but I'm dead serious. And I also did bet this.
I was trying to keep a straight face. It's like the books are being lazy with kicking props or something.
Yo,
it's some straight dumb shit is what it is.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Next game. Ravens, Bill. What a freaking awesome Sunday! Like how
I
electric
know.
is
Like, I
this?
just want to sit back and watch and
I
enjoy
know.
it.
This is awesome. Steve, take it away.
Yeah. So best bet wise, it's a player prop. I'll talk about the game in a second, but it's Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I'm gonna guess this is heavily juiced now. I got this at -125 on DraftKings. I don't understand why it's that. He threw 2+ touchdowns in 14 of 19 games last year, including both games, regular season playoffs against Buffalo. 20 touchdowns thrown in his final 8 games. Ravens team touchdowns set at 2.5, juiced at like -200 to the over. They're going to score some touchdowns. Highest total on the board, I think, today. Again, just need 2 through the air. Facing the Bills, they allowed the 8th most passing touchdowns with 28. The thing again, or with the Bills defense is that it's tougher to score on the ground. They only allowed 10 total rushing touchdowns to running backs. I know Lamar can score with his legs. That doesn't help here, but 7 of the last 9 teams had a quarterback throw for 2+ TDs against Buffalo. Lamar's thrown 2+ TDs now in 12 of his last 13 games, and I got a playable line here at 2 touchdowns. It's prime time. It's Lamar. But as for a side, I want to watch and enjoy this game. It's kind of a coin flip to me, but in my honest opinion, just for the season in general, the Ravens are the best team in football. I mean, this is by far not by far, but this is the overall best roster. I've been saying the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl for the last couple of years. Maybe now that I'm going against it, they have an unbelievable season. They're obviously studs, but great additions in the secondary for Baltimore. I mean, Awuzie, Jair Alexander, drafted Malachi Starks in the first round. Second-year guy, I think he's from Clemson, Nate Wiggins, the DB, keeps improving, I believe. Marlon Humphrey. This team is absolutely loaded. They made some adjustments last year with Kyle Hamilton and where they used him and stuff. So I think the Ravens are awesome. I'd probably lean Ravens on this side, but my best bet is that Lamar Jackson prop.
So this is a tough one. All right, so we're in Buffalo, and the Ravens are laying a point, which means market's telling us that on a neutral, they've got Baltimore by a strong 3. I think that's a little much. I mean, I think roster-wise, the Ravens are in better shape than Buffalo is this year. But to call them a strong 3 points better than Buffalo in week 1, I think that's too much. And that's where I'm at with this one. I'm going to bet it. I haven't. I'm going to bet it, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do in a second. So handicapping-wise, in terms of taking a profitable position, it would be take the Bills plus 1.5 because I think this number is shaded too far towards Baltimore. The problem is, this is what I'm about to say is not sharp, dumb as shit. Dude, Lamar Jackson gave the game away in the playoffs with all those turnovers. I was on the Bills. I thoroughly enjoyed it. In regular season, Lamar is such a savage, bro. I feel like he's just going to fuck the Bills up.
Did you say Lamar gave it away or Mark Andrews gave it away?
a combination effort. But no, Lamar with that fumble was weird, and he threw that terrible Lamar gave it away a little bit too.
He threw a terrible interception.
Yeah, real bad. And I was on the Bills. I enjoyed receiving all of those turnovers. Toast, what do you think?
I feel stupid because that was like one of the things I was going to say because you have him looking stupid. Not to mention the fact that you have the Bills that are going to be dealing with some issues defensively. I think they're not going to have 2 of their corners, that Benford kid and that Travarius White, are both dealing with some injuries, which I don't love that. Not to mention, I think that Baltimore is one of, if not the best team in Major League Baseball, in the NFL. In the NFL. And then on top of that, one thing that I've talked about a lot on this show too is that I pay attention to first half trends and stuff. I try to figure out different ways to bet the NFL. Lamar Jackson in the first 10 is an absolute godsend. 54, 38, and 2 ATS for his career. I don't really worry about Baltimore. I think that they can get out and rush and stuff like that. I played Baltimore in the first half on the money line at -110. I don't want to deal with Josh Allen at the end of the game, winning this game somehow, some way, but I'll take Baltimore in the first half to run it down their throats.
Give me the over. I'm not laying a point. I'm not betting a bad number. I think Baltimore wins, but I'm not betting a bad number. Give me over 50.5. Show me some fireworks. I'll also build a fun same game parlay for this one for people.
I'll tell that.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about the same game parlay or the over?
The same game parlay.
Oh yeah, I'll post it at like 6. The same thing I do every week. I'll post it at like 6:30 p.m. I'll tag everyone. Everyone, thanks for watching. And damn, we got to do this again next week. This is too fun.
Did you see how many people are in this dang room?
Well, for those
people in here, I'm like, oh my god.
I have been considering scrapping the Saturday and Sunday morning live shows because it's a lot of work and there's college football lines opening right now that I should be. But this is too fun. We got to keep doing it. So, yeah, we'll be back next week.
Heck yeah, baby.
Let's have a good
It
one.
would be really weird to wake up on Sunday and not do one of these
I know,
shows.
it's too fun. Even though it's like, because like theoretically it's kind of dumb. Like you shouldn't be betting right now. Like every bet you place right now is going to be a bad bet. And like reality, we should be preparing for next week right now. But it's too fun. Got to keep doing it.
I agree. It's either this or the Mariners for me. So
I'll be watching football in the Discord all day if you want to hang out. Everyone have a good one.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
Oh, shit. Community parlay.
Oh, we haven't done one of these in a while.
Community parlay. The community.
Let's replay the song because it was frozen.
Community parlay. The parlay we bet. Yeah, community parlay is for the community. We community. Making a parlay. Yeah.
All right, quick community parlay for the guys. We haven't done one in forever. How do we? All right. So first game up. Let's see. Steelers Jets. They voted Steelers. Second game up. Raiders Patriots. They voted Patriots, but it was close. Cardinals Saints. They voted Cardinals. Bengals Browns. They voted Bengals. Oh, top fans. I didn't even know I had a top fans.
I got a badge yesterday for commenting. Felt good.
Right, congrats, bro. Proud of you. Proud of you. First leg of the community parlay is Steelers money line by a landslide.
Now I just want to bet the Jets.
You want to fade?
As soon as you said landslide.
Community fade. Jags money line. Dolphins or Colts. They like the Dolphins, but it's close. Giants Commanders. They like the Commanders.
Jabbo, if you are losing in the NFL today, the Astros are free. Just on the ML. Just so you
Are they?
know.
Okay. Who do we? I haven't looked much in MLB today. I'm taking it off. Who they got started?
Framber, off of all that BS, dominates the Rangers. Full bullpen behind him. Set and forget it.
Against Corbin. Minus 135.
Well, we got 125. That's moving, but yeah. He wasn't supposed to start today, but anyway.
Someone goes bye-bye parlay. Oh, are you writing down these legs, Toast?
Yeah, I will.
Well, I'm not writing them down, and the comments are coming fast. So it's Steelers, Jags, and what was the second one? Oh, that was the second one. My bad. Steelers and Jags so far.
Jags money line.
The next one has Broncos money line in it. We should just let it rock. Like we should just Broncos money line is winning this. I would almost guarantee it.
We didn't talk them into the Giants money line.
No, I don't think they were swayed. Yeah, it's Broncos money line by an actual landslide. Like no one even clicked on anything else. All right, last leg of this community parlay. They liked the Ravens. And then we'll go all the second place finishers. They like the Lions. Who else got second place?
We're not even at plus 180 yet, or barely at it, guys. So come on now.
Like the community never left. Back in mid-season form.
They never left.
Dude, I remember we tried to do a college football community parlay one time. It was like Ohio State money line. This shit was like minus 122 for 4 legs. Like, guys, come on. Football season's officially back. Plus,
You guys only money. It's only money line. You guys don't do like spread community parlays.
no.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, I didn't get that number. I didn't get this
Well,
number. At least this way you can be like, we won.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And also the community parlay was started during baseball. So it was started because we were having an argument on the show and it was like, let's let the crowd settle it.
Shocker, we were arguing.
Yeah. like, let's let the crowd settle it. That's how the community parlay started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The last leg is Ravens. What's the odds?
Oh, hold on, I put in the Bengals instead of the Ravens. Hold on. Ravens on the ML. Make it a 4-leg parlay. Turns it into plus 446.
It's Steelers, Broncos, Ravens, and who am I missing?
Steelers, Broncos, Jags, Ravens.
And it's 426.
Yep.
All right.
446. 446, sorry.
I don't want to jip the community out of 20 cents. All right, the community parlay that y'all voted on. Steelers money line, Jags money line, Broncos money line, Ravens money line. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all. Actually, if you're hanging out watching football in the Discord, I'll talk to you all day. If not, we'll be back tonight at midnight to talk about tomorrow's baseball with Toast and Spoon. Steve, thanks for joining, man. Let me know. I know you're busy during the week. Let me know if you want to come on during the week. If not, I'll see you next week.